Hello, amazing listeners, and welcome back to Happiness by Habit, the podcast where we explore how small but powerful habits lead our joyful, purpose driven life. I am your host, Silvana Pimentel, and today's episode is a very special one for me because we are diving into one of my personal passions, real estate investing, more specifically, note investing, including non performing notes, which I've been learning and investing in myself. Joining us today, Fred Moskowitz, an educator, fund manager, and best-selling author who has trained countless investors from all walks of life on how to create reliable passive income streams. Fred is considered a veteran in the note investing arena and is known for his ability to break down complex financial strategies into simple, actionable insights. Fred's book, The Little Green Book of Note Investing, is a must read for anyone looking to be the bank and tap into the world of alternative investings. Today, we will learn how note investing works, what habits lead to a long-term financial peace, and how building passive income can
Hello,
support not
Silvana.
just
It's great to be
your
here.
wallet, but your well-being. Hello and welcome to Happiness by
Thank you.
Habit, Fred.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to have you. Let's dive in. Let's get it started. Fred, can you share with us how
yeah,
you first got started
absolutely.
into
I'll
note
share with you a little bit
investing
about my
and what
background.
inspired you to become an
I
educator in
had a
this
very
space?
long and successful career working in the computer and tech field, technology, and I loved working as a computer engineer. But what I found was that it's a really cyclical environment. Right? Like many industries, it's cyclical, has ups and downs. And so I learned firsthand that I was taking on this huge risk because I was relying on my paycheck as my only source of income. And so I always like to ask this question: how risky is your paycheck if you're working in a corporate environment, right? Have you ever thought how risky is your paycheck? Because even if you may have the sense that you're working in a stable place, stable company, or a good company, could very well be. However, we can be subject to things out of our control, like layoffs, inflation, economic downturns. And so, because of all of this, I wanted diversification in my income sources. And so that has led me to turn to alternative investments because alternative investments, they generate cash flow for us. And so you earn income while you wait. Just imagine that. Imagine turning on a faucet of an
Mm,
income stream that starts almost immediately. And so this is what attracted me to alternative investments. And I started out investing in real estate, building up a rental portfolio. And then after a number of years, I started to learn about investing in mortgage notes and then expanded into that area as well. And it's been a wonderful journey for me.
amazing. Thank you for taking us through your journey, Fred. Let's talk about real estate and specifically about performing and non-performing notes. I think many people are familiar with real estate, but so few are
Yeah,
really
absolutely. Note
understanding what
investing
is
is all about
note investing. Can we talk a little bit about that, please?
investing in the notes and mortgages that are backed by real estate. So think about this. A lot of people know about investing in real estate. Maybe you buy a rental property or invest in an apartment building or short-term rentals, which is very popular, right? Like to rent on for vacation properties. But if you think about this, all of
Yeah.
these investment properties, the majority of people buy them with a loan, with debt, and that's the notes associated. So for us as investors, we can invest in all of those notes as investors, and it's a great niche area of real estate investing. What I love, Silvana, is that if you get involved in note investing, you're able to invest in real estate without having all the maintenance, headaches, responsibilities of managing the property, dealing with tenants. You don't have to do any of that because, in a sense, you're the lender. You're stepping into the shoes of the bank. You're receiving those monthly payments instead of making them and generating cash flow. And so this is a
Mm-hmm.
great option for someone that maybe says, hey, I don't have time to invest in real estate. It's a lot of work. I don't want to manage rentals and deal with the repairs and all that. So note investing can be a great option for anyone that wants to get involved in real estate but doesn't have the time or the bandwidth to do that. Maybe you're focusing on your career, you have a successful career that you're focusing on, or you're a business owner and you're focused on growing your business. And
Mm-hmm.
while you may want to be involved in investing, you don't have time to be actively involved in running it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what is part of the power of note investing. It is.
I love it. And especially it's like becoming the bank, right? And it's much more simple because you get the income, the residual income or the monthly income without dealing with all the, toilet issues, electrical issues, or any
The
other issues. Just
property
basically
owner
because
is
any of those
responsible
issues
for
will be now
handling
part
that,
of
right?
the
Now, don't get me
homeowner's
wrong,
program.
real estate,
And
owning
or
real estate has a lot of benefits to it. I recommend it
exactly.
often to people. However, it is a lot of work. It's going to take
Oh
work.
yeah.
And I always say, you hit a point when you're building a rental portfolio where you eventually hit a point where you say, hey, I can't scale any further. How many you can own a couple of rentals, but eventually you'll hit a number where it starts to become too much and unmanageable unless you have a lot of outside help.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is part of the problem with real estate. But I always recommend own some and figure out a way that it works for you. But for a lot of people, it's a great option is owning notes, and it's a lot less hands-on of an investing activity.
I love it. Absolutely. And I can attest to that.
Yeah, passive
A lot of
investing,
people
exactly.
are looking for, as you mentioned, hands-off investing,
Yeah,
also more
and
passive kind of investing.
yeah, I'll
And
tell
so
you
this is a
with
really, really good
getting
option
involved in note
because you can.
investing, there's two ways to do it. And this depends on whether we go into active investing or
Mhm,
passive investing. We talked about some of the difference between real estate and notes and how notes is more passive. However, we can break that down further. To get involved in note investing, you can be active in it, which means you go out, find notes to buy and evaluate them and analyze them and then buy them and build and manage a portfolio, right? Which takes some work for sure. It's active, I call it. But you can also get involved passively by
mhm,
investing in a note fund
mhm, mhm,
for someone that really wants to be passive. And so what a note fund is, this is
mm,
where the fund managers raise capital from
mhm,
investors who want to be passive, and then they go out in the secondary mortgage market and they find notes to buy and they buy them, build the portfolio, manage it, and then pay back a rate of return to the investors. So the investors don't need to get involved in managing the portfolio, dealing with any problems or anything that comes up. And so for the investors, it's a great way to leverage the expertise and experience and the relationships that the fund managers have, the access to notes, all of that. I hear this complaint a lot from investors getting involved in note investing. They say, hey, Fred, it's so hard to find notes. I'm looking for them. They're hard to find. The reality is, yes, it takes a lot of work. They're out there, but it does take work. You have to build relationships and be
mhm,
setting yourself up to have
mhm,
opportunities to buy notes. And so for some people, they like the idea
mhm.
about investing in a fund passively. And there's not really a right or wrong answer about this. It's the question to ask is, hey, do you have a lot of time or do you have very little time? If you have a lot of time, you want to get in, roll up your sleeves, get involved, then go for active note investing. And if you have other things in your life that you need to focus on, whether it's your career, your family, or business, then maybe passive investing is a better option, right? Investing is a better option.
Absolutely. And I think most of our listeners might be interested about that because a lot of times we have a full-time job and we do have something, some activity, but we like to or so many people would like to get into real estate. So this will be a really good
Yeah.
avenue, whether or not through a fund or through an actual active investing option.
Yeah.
Speaking of real
I
estate,
love
Fred,
single
what are
family
your
homes.
favorite niches within real estate?
Single family
I know
homes,
notes for sure.
um,
What else?
are
What have you done?
the
What you
most available
Oh, me
type of
too.
asset.
Yes.
They're in every city and town all across the United States. And when you
Mm-hmm.
go to sell them in the future, there's the most buyers out there looking for that. So it gives you a lot of flexibility and they're
That's
easy to
right.
find. They're easy to finance to get bank financing. And when you're exiting again, you sell to someone that wants to move in and live there and raise their family there. And so you have the most maximum exposure because there's the most buyers. Yes, apartment buildings, there's other types of real estate, and they have their pros and cons. However, there's less people out there looking for a a 4-unit apartment building than there are looking for a single family home. And so that's a consideration to keep in mind. Always when you invest in assets like this, alternative
Mm-hmm.
assets, you always should go
Mm-hmm.
into it thinking, okay, what's the exit going to look like theoretically? And how can I maximize my potential there? So it's almost like you go into it thinking about how you're going to exit at the end and have that as
That's
part
right.
of your considerations so you understand what are the different options and opportunities available to you
And I
and
love real estate
tax
because you have
benefits as
many
well
exit
with real estate,
strategies
which is
available.
powerful, right? Imagine
Um,
this. When I was
it's
working as an engineer, I was there with my W-2 income, and then I have these rental properties that are
Mhm.
generating cash flow for me, but also because of the depreciation and all the tax benefits and write-offs, it's reducing my tax liability on my W-2 income. And then, so what does that mean, Silvana? It means there's more money in your pocket at the end. And then you can take that and then invest it, maybe buy another asset with it. Gives you more money to
Mhm.
invest, and that's
Mhm.
powerful.
Absolutely. Taxes are very critical consideration and when buying or selling real estate. And what I love about real estate is that there is always a good time to buy in real estate and to invest in real estate, even when the times are good or bad, because you have so many different strategies or niches where you can invest in. I've done REOs, quick flip, but lately the non-performing note investing is being really, really interesting from the passive or sometimes a little active perspective. So a lot of our listeners might wonder, or a lot of people have this interest in real estate, but perhaps either don't have a lot of money to invest or yeah, in this case, what kind of a strategy or what kind of advice would you have for people who don't have a lot of money to invest, like the cash to buy a full house, or
Yeah,
just but
to
is
get
curious and would
started
love
in real
to enter
estate,
into the real estate
yeah,
industry
it does
arena
take some initial
investing?
cash, right? You can purchase a property with financing, which is great, right?
Mm-hmm.
In many other countries around the world, they don't have financing for a house. You have to buy the house for cash. But fortunately, here in the United States, you can put 20% down or less, 10%. There's different options available. So you can get in and you're using leverage now, the bank debt, to help you. And so this is a great way to get started, right? For there's all these different strategies like what's called house hacking is one that's popular now with people that are younger. They'll buy property. Maybe you buy a 2-unit property or 3-unit property, small apartment building, live in one, move into one, and then rent out the other
Mm-hmm.
units. And now your property is considered owner occupied and you
Mm-hmm.
qualify for the best financing when you do that. And that can be a great strategy, especially someone that's young, getting started. Maybe they're going to live in an apartment and rent. But what if you, instead of doing that, look for a small apartment building to buy and live in one of the units and start out just to get it started. And then maybe later on, after some time, you want to move to different property, you can move out and you keep
Mhm.
that property rented. You move somewhere else, buy another place, and then rent out the apartment that you used to live in. I know many people that have done that and been very successful with it. So those are some different strategies when you're first getting started.
That is a good one, Fred. Thank you very much for sharing that one. Then we also have the people who have a full, like a very successful career. They have some savings, but would love to invest this money into something that will give them good returns. A lot of times, real estate could be very attractive for
Yeah,
these
there's
people.
certainly different
Let's talk about that.
opportunities. You can
What
invest
opportunities might be
in
available for them?
larger properties through some kind of a partnership that exists. You can invest in a mortgage note fund, which makes it passive. You can invest in a small business. There's so many different options out there
Mhm.
where these are all considered alternative investments. And what I love about them is that they generate cash flow and income while you own it. And that's really powerful because a lot of traditional investments in the stock market and all that, they don't pay dividends or cash flow, or if they do, it's very small. And you don't earn any profits until you sell the asset, and
Mhm.
that's it. And
That's
then you
true.
have nothing left except your cash, right? You have nothing else generating income for you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Very interesting. Let's switch hats for a second and Fred, the topic or the title of this podcast is Happiness by Habits. So I would love to hear from you what happy habits, financial
For
happy
financial
habits, would
success,
you
yeah,
recommend for our
absolutely. I love
listeners?
this question.
And that would be good for
So I
success, for
always
financial success.
like to talk about this idea about don't worry too much about how you earn your paycheck, how you earn your income, but instead think about what are you doing with the income you're earning? How do you manage that? Do you carve off a piece to save for
Mm,
investing?
mm-hmm,
Do you say, hey, I'm going to take 10% of what I make and separate that and invest with it and then spend all the money you have? A lot of people, they get their paycheck and then pay all their bills. And then if there's anything left over, maybe you'll invest at the end, right? But think about how does IRS make sure their taxes are paid every year? That
mm-hmm.
people pay income taxes. The way they do it is they deduct it from your paycheck so that they get paid first. Well, how about if you and I think about, I want to get paid, I want to pay myself first
Mm-hmm.
too. So separate a section of your paycheck off to the side for
Mm-hmm.
investing, then spend whatever's left over, then go and pay your bills and everything that you have. And this way you're guaranteed that money's always going to be set aside. And with technology these days, we can automate all of this. So you don't have to think about it. That really sets you up for success. When you set up direct deposit from your employer, set up
Mm,
2 direct deposits. Say, okay, I want to take this portion off to a separate account, that's your
mm-hmm.
savings, and it gets taken out, and then all the rest goes into your main spending account. So what you do this, it's all automated. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to remember. It happens for you on autopilot. And then you have that running. And then after months or maybe the end of the year, you look back and say, "Oh, I have this account with all this money here," and that's the money you use for your investing. You go and buy an asset with it. You make an offer on a property. You invest in
Mm-hmm.
notes, whatever it is you want to
Mm-hmm.
do. But that's one of the biggest areas to really strategize on, and it's something that any of us can do today, starting right now.
I love that one. That's very important because we need, as you mentioned, we let's start being paid first. But this not easy. I guess a lot of people we can implement that strategy,
Yeah,
but it's not
it
definitely it's
is,
not that
and
easy.
something
But it
everyone
can
can
be
do,
done
and
with
if you think
technology
it's
and it can
hard,
be
well, then
automated.
start small.
I love that one.
Start with $100 a paycheck,
Hmm.
and then just get it set up, take action, get it started,
Yeah.
even with a
Yeah, yeah,
small
yeah.
amount, and then after a while, you can adjust.
Right.
What else?
Absolutely. Love that one.
Make sure
Give
that
us
you
more. What
are
else? What other habit you have that
leveraging
will be good?
the different retirement account options that we have, which leads us into the area of tax-free or tax advantage investing.
Mm, yeah.
Utilizing your IRAs and Ks for investing. There's all these strategies. In my book, I have a few chapters
Hmm.
dedicated to how to do investing using your retirement accounts. You can do buy notes, do note investing in a retirement account, which is a great strategy. And so when you do this, you get to leverage a lot of tax savings, which can be very powerful. And so something very important for everyone is have a good strategy for your taxes. Work with a good tax advisor, a good accountant that helps you with strategy, and talk to them about what you're doing with investing and how can you invest in a way that's most tax advantaged for you. Something to look at because again, like I said earlier, when you reduce your taxes, then that's more money in your pocket, and then you can turn around and invest that and put that back out into the world, back out into the economy, and it creates this flow of abundance in your life, in your financial universe. Yeah. So it's really powerful.
I love that one. So many people just underestimate the power of this money, the retirement money, and most of people that have like a double job
Yes.
normally just keeps the 401k, sticks to that. But there are a lot of other options.
Self-directed, yeah, that's a powerful
Like I love
strategy.
the
I encourage
self-directed
everyone to learn
IRA
about
accounts.
them, and it's something that's available to everyone
Mm,
that has a retirement account. You have a 401k from a previous employer. Well, that's your money. You have every right to move that. You can move it into a
mhm,
self-directed retirement account. And the
mhm.
beauty there is that is the name self-directed. That means you yourself gets to direct where those funds get invested.
Because they are very strict regulations for these retirement funds. However, I don't know that too many people knows about this, but there is like when you switch jobs or when you have just some money available from previous jobs on your 401k, you have a period of time where you can actually move that money into a self-directed IRA account. It can be a Roth account or regular account, and you can decide where you invest this money. And real estate, and there are some regulations again, but real estate is one of those options. I was so happy and please, I own a couple of
Love that.
properties with this technique with my self-directed account. So I bought a couple of notes
So
and
you
then turned them
created the notes.
into like I kept the asset and did owner financing. So it's really, really cool. Exactly. So it's possible and it's really interesting way to invest for your retirement. And it grows tax free if you decide to do it like into a self-directed Roth account. I wanted to mention because we're talking about a lot of taxes, investings here. I just want to give a quick warning, we are not either financial advisors, tax professionals, or attorneys. This is educationally and informational only. Okay, very good. Awesome. So that's a really good technique and advice. I appreciate it. And so there is a lot of things that can be done with for retirement. Very good. Let's talk about daily disciplines of someone who manages
I
a
love
fund,
this
educates
question.
other. What are
Well,
your
there's a
personal
couple
habits or
couple of
routine that
things
keeps
that
you
are
focused
really
and motivated, Fred?
I consider them my non-negotiables, and no matter what, I do this. I focus on my health.
Mm-hmm.
Big one. Exercise most days, not every single day, but most days, usually like 5 or 6 days a week of exercise. Eat healthy, and just doing that, focusing a little bit on health and wellness. The benefits of this, you have the best energy to do everything you want to do in life. You feel good. You have mental clarity, right? Because what does exercise do? It gets our blood flowing, get your heart rate up, oxygen to your brain, all of that. And it's not just during the time you're doing the
Mhm.
exercise, but it's the whole day. And so that's one of my daily habits is focus at an hour or more on exercise and moving my body. In addition to that, I love writing. I write, I
Mhm.
journal. I do that every day in the morning when I start my day. Another one is planning out my day in the beginning. I time block my whole day so that I go into the
Yes,
day with a
very important.
plan. I spent a long time not doing that, and it would just be random,
Mhm.
whatever. I'd start looking at my emails and responding to whatever was there. And so it's a very reactive way to live. And I've shifted that to be proactive, where I plan my day in the beginning just by time blocking. I write it out every day, what I have, what are my top priorities, what I'm going to do, and be organized. And I make sure
Mhm.
that there's a time block attached to each of the priorities I have so that every day I'm moving them forward. So that's another part of my non-negotiables is having a plan. And we know that life can get chaotic and things happen. Curveballs come in when you're not expecting it, and that's okay. You adapt and respond, of
Mhm.
course. However, you're still going from this solid base, this solid foundation that really gives you persistence or resiliency to be successful in your life.
Very nice. I love it. I can definitely relate, especially to the one of planning, because I think it's important when you set a time bracket to do a specific activity, you have many
And
more
it's
chances
focused time.
to get it done, and because you set yourself for success, and that's very important. Absolutely, yes. Otherwise, it's very easy to get distracted with so many things that happen to us during the day. So I love that one. That's very Fred, you wrote a book, The Little Green Book of Note Investing, where you talk about it's like a practical guide for individuals interested in exploring the world of mortgage
Yeah.
note investing. You talk about how to step into the lender's role and
Yeah.
becoming the
Thank
bank
you.
and earning
This
income through
book
the
was
acquisition of
really
mortgage
a
notes. Tell us a little bit more about this
way
book,
for me
please.
to share with everyone some of my favorite ideas and concepts in introducing to note investing, what it is, how does it work, how to get started, how to get involved for someone
Mhm.
that's new, that's learning. And I talk about how to get started as a passive investor, talk about how to get involved as an active investor, and we talk about how to analyze notes, how to purchase notes, where to find them, as well as I have two chapters on what we talked about earlier, investing using retirement accounts and self-directed accounts and all these different strategies. And so really gives a good high-level overview,
Mhm.
introductory for someone
Mhm.
that's getting started. It's called The Little Green Book of Note Investing, and you can find it right on Amazon.
I love it. Very nice. So for our listeners who are interested about a guide of how to do things or learn more, if they are interested about learning more about the beautiful world of note investing in real estate, please go ahead and get the book, Fred's book. This is very, very good material, and it is a really good guide for people who wants to learn more about this beautiful world of real estate in the note investment. Wonderful.
My
Let me
main
ask you
motivator
something else,
is
Fred. What is
to
your
make an
why? What keeps
impact,
you?
to
What
make a
is your
positive
main
impact in the
motivator?
people that I come into contact with. And I always
Hmm.
love the idea that
Mhm.
I want everyone that I come in contact with to walk away a little bit better than they were before we met, before we came together. And so that's the positive impact that I seek to make, whether it's through a individual one-on-one
Mm.
interaction or a conversation, or maybe it's through my body of work. However it ends up to be, that's always my goal and my why, and I love that.
That is really powerful and beautiful. And I'm sure you have helped so many people to be better financially, especially which is your note, your area of expertise. Very nice. I'm sure we have intrigued many of our listeners to learn more about this beautiful real estate in note investing world. And so besides recommending them to to get
Yeah,
your book and
yeah,
read it.
thank you.
And
Thank you, I appreciate that.
is there
Best
any
way
other
to
way that they
connect
can
with
actually
me
get in touch
is to
with
visit
you,
my website,
Fred?
which is
Yes.
fredmoskowitz.com. And I totally understand it may be a
Mm-hmm.
little difficult to spell that. So if you prefer an easier spelling,
Mm-hmm.
just go to giftfromfred.com and it'll take you right to my website. And when you're there, I have a special report on note investing that I'm happy to share to send out to anyone that wants to request it, or you can send me a message on the website. I always love connecting with other investors, people interested in learning about investing and building relationships. It's one of the biggest parts of what we do.
Wonderful, Fred. And what we will do is we will put your website here on the show notes as well, so people can find you really easily. Wonderful. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
sharing your
Silvana. It was
story, Fred,
wonderful
your
speaking with you here
expertise
today. Thank you for
and your
having me
heart
on
with
your
us
show.
today. I really appreciate it. You've shown that, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And your message is such a powerful tool for creating freedom, stability, and joy. And your habits, your why, and your insights are a gift to anyone who wants to create a more empowered and abundant life. To everyone listening, if you're curious about creating passive income or stepping into the shoes of the lender, please visit Fred's website. Thank you so much again and for tuning into Happiness by Habit. Remember, every big change starts with one small habit. Keep growing, keep investing, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.